Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Listen, I hope everyone's had a wonderful, wonderful week thus far, and I hope you're ready to get into tonight's conversation. I want to go ahead and get right into our show tonight. So without further ado, I want you guys to do me a favor and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that HeSpoke Fashion is on live. All right? And we'll be right back. Are you ready, AB? All right. Let's get it. Hit it. Yeah. In the HeSpoke Fashion. All right. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. And as I said in my opening monologue, I want to get right into tonight's discussion. So, as many of you may be aware, WBA Lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis faced Lamont Roach in a highly anticipated bout last Saturday, which many fans believe lived up to the expectations. Now, the fight concluded with a controversial split decision, and Tank Davis's commentary on the events have provided, guys, one of the most memorable moments in boxing history. Now, this leads to our topic of discussion for this evening, which is, that's right, guys, you seen it, the most feminine moment in boxing history. Now, guys, while some of you may hold differing opinions about my forthcoming remarks, I urge you to engage until the conclusion so that you can fully understand the significance. So without further ado, let's proceed. AB, please, can you roll the clip?
Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right. He took a knee. He took a knee! What is he doing?
He forgot his...
Left. Oh, and...
All right, guys, listen. I'm confident that by now you have all viewed the clip and had the opportunity to form your observations and opinions on that clip. Now, many fans and analysts contend that Tank would have lost the fight had referee Steve Willis ruled a knockdown when Davis unexpectedly knelt on the canvas during the round. Now, the match took place before a sold-out audience of 19,250 people at Barclays Center. And again, the ninth round left many spectators in disbelief as Davis suddenly dropped to his knee after, guys, receiving a slight jab from Roach. Now, although the punch appeared to momentarily impair Davis's vision, as evidenced in that clip that we just watched, he subsequently walked to the corner of the ring where a towel was used to wipe his eye. But let us now hear, guys, Tank's explanation for his decision to take a knee. Let's watch.
Tank, you voluntarily took a knee midway through this fight. It was not ruled a knockdown. What happened?
I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in my so the was like, you know, like when you sweating and things like that, and the grease come in my face, it burnt my eyes type shit. Damn, why y'all booing like I'm saying bullshit? Like, this is real facts. Come on, man. Look at my hair. I just got my done. But it's all cool, man. You know how I get. They love you and then they hate you. Turn around there and love you again. You know what I mean?
Tank, you voluntarily...
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard Tank's insights. However, before we proceed with our discussion, AB, could you please present our disclaimer? You know, because, you know, we want to ensure that our content remains respectful and considerate, you know, especially for those who might be more sensitive. Now, it is never our intention to offend anyone. So thank you, AB. Now, guys, let's delve deeper into our discussion. Do you recall the earlier days when Gervonta Davis's hairstyle began to emerge among men outside of the Jamaican or Rastafarian communities, particularly guys within hip-hop and various communities? Now, some of you may be too young to remember when artists like Redman and Method Man, guys that popularized dreadlocks, creating an urban aesthetic that was widely across the nation. Now, in addition, the group known as the Lost Boys made significant contributions to this trend with, guys, their memorable hits. AB, hit it.
Yeah. Oh, we fam, finally up in the peak. Got my mans that put me on, you know what I'm saying? One shout out to the Uptown, you know what I mean? Word up. MCA, this is how we do anything. Me and Freaky Ty, pretty new, my man. Big night.
Yeah. Come on, listen with frontman Mr. Cheeks at the helm, showcasing his distinctive locks and his impeccable sense of style. This fashion trend rapidly gained popularity, resonating with inner city youth across the United States. Now, although the look was often criticized for its hardcore, roughneck aesthetic, it became emblematic of a burgeoning urban fashion movement. Now, guys, listen, when the group Naughty by Nature, led by frontman Treach, you guys remember Naughty by Nature, when they released hits like OPP, their music, guys, hear me close, reached college campuses nationwide. Now, this exposure inspired young black men, many of whom had never experienced life in inner city environments or public housing, to do what? Adopt this style. Now, accompanying this fashion transformation was an attitude that suggested that our youth, guys, I was excited to see this and be part of this, because I'm not that old, but that our youth were forging their own path in the realm of urban fashion. What was that, Grogu? What did you say? Oh, you down with OPP? Yes, you know me. You down with OPP? Yes, you know me. You down with OPP? Everybody. Ha ha! That's right. That's right, guys. Listen. OPP, huh? All right, okay. This guy, he's full. Listen. Guys, gone are those days of masculine men showing that even a hairstyle could not change them. But wait! Were they wrong? Were they wrong? Now, guys, the idea that black masculinity is being intentionally feminized by society is a perspective that comes up in cultural discussions. But it's important to unpack what that really means. Now, masculinity, more closely, black masculinity included, has never been static, okay? Because it has evolved across different generations. This has been shaped by cultural, social, and historical influences. Now, historically, black men have faced efforts to control and to redefine their image, whether through what I would consider hyper-masculinization, depicting them as inherently aggressive or threatening, or attempts to limit their self-expression. Now, guys, some argue, now hear me close, that mainstream media promotes certain images of black men, whether through fashion, hairstyles, or behavior that don't align with traditional views of masculinity. Now, guys, others believe that society is simply broadening the definition of masculinity, allowing for more diverse expressions of identity. Now, listen, at the core of this conversation is this question that I'm going to ask you. Guys, who gets to define masculinity? I want to hear what you have to say. Write it in the chat. Who do you believe defines masculinity? Well, guys, while you're writing your answers, I'm going to share that I believe that the Bible has a few references to men with long hair with varying interpretations depending on the context. Now, guys, I'm just going to go here for a moment. So the most well-known passage is in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. And here is where Paul writes. He writes this. He says, "Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears long hair, it is a shame unto him," or shame or disgrace for him? Now this verse is often cited in discussions about men and long hair, but guys, it is important to consider the cultural context. So in ancient Greco-Roman society, short hair was typically associated with men, while long hair was seen as more feminine. Now, Paul, the Apostle Paul here, was addressing the Corinthians who lived in that cultural setting and was speaking about maintaining social order and distinctions between men and women. Now, guys, personal convictions, cultural context, and intent matter, even when interpreting biblical principles on appearance. Now, guys, here is another question. Can a change of hairstyle for a man change his behavior reflecting of the style? Guys, I'm going to give you a chance to think about that question. And we're going to take a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really... All right, guys. So, did you have a chance to ponder that question? Did you have I would love to hear your answers. And guys, believe me, I do check the chat to see exactly what you guys have to say. The question again, can a change of hairstyle for a man change his behavior reflective of the hairstyle? The answer is yes. A change in hairstyle can influence a man's behavior in ways that reflect the style that he adopts. Now, this is due to a combination of psychological, social, and cultural factors. Self-perception and confidence. When someone changes their look, they often feel different. A man who adopts a more feminine or unconventional hairstyle might feel more expressive, rebellious, or even sophisticated, depending on the style. If the new hairstyle aligns with a certain aesthetic, long flowing hair associated with artistic or free-spirited personalities, he may unconsciously lean into that persona. Now, hairstyles can subtly influence how a person carries himself. A slick back or highly styled look might make someone feel more polished and refined, while shaggy, longer hair might contribute to a more laid-back attitude. Now, if a hairstyle is high maintenance, he might adopt grooming habits and behaviors that reflect that upkeep, making him more meticulous or detail-oriented. Now, psychological association, and guys, recall when I spoke to you about the concept of enclosed cognition and the effect. And that is simply where clothing influences behavior. Now, similarly, hairstyles can also have the same impact. So if a man adopts a style that is culturally associated with a particular personality type, for instance, he might unconsciously start reflecting those traits. And guys, hear me close. That is when you hear them speak in terms of getting their hair done instead of, I'm simply going to get a haircut. Now, historically, black men have always put care into their hair. And this is one thing that we need to address. So let's take a moment again, AB, let's take a moment and let's go to a quick commercial and then we'll be right back. Let's go to a quick commercial. You can take your time, but go to a quick commercial and we'll be back. All right. Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, what what you think. Leave your questions and comments. And remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook. And if you really like this episode, leave your questions and comments. And remember. All right, guys, we're back. And again, I asked the question earlier, and I'm telling you, I think that we're on to something, ladies and gentlemen. We're on to something. What would you say, Grogu? Oh, because we're discussing hairstyles. What was that? What does my bald head say about me? My friend, you asked some very good questions. Well, I would say that it reflects my courage to embrace my appearance, without concealment or denial. Come on, you've seen the guys with denial. They have a little bit of hair on one side and they flip it over to the front. Some on the back, they flip it. You know the type. I don't have that problem. Now, guys, do you, again, recall this concept that I spoke about called enclothed recognition or cognition, which suggests that clothing can influence behavior. It can impact behavior. Now, again, these are hairstyles that, again, as I mentioned before, that can exert a comparable influence. So can hairstyles. When a man chooses a style culturally associated with a particular personality type, he may unconsciously, guys, begin to embody those traits. In this context, one might note the distinction in language. Again, when individuals refer to having their hairstyle, they start to talk about getting their hair done, remember, instead of getting a haircut. Now, this observation leads us to recognize what may be considered the most feminine moment in boxing history. Why? Because Tank Davis's choice of words in that moment was that the grease from my hair, I went and I got my hair done and it got in my eye. Those were his words. Now, many of you may be